Hello there, this is Denzin, back once again with Hadleys Hope, but moving on from operations, which was over here. We're moving through our escape route into the Medlab. Now what have we got in Medlab? What's going on in here? So again, this is LV427-DESIGNS 3D prints, and this is quite a chunky piece of this board when you pull back and look at it. So operations here, and then second half Medlab. Now, this is where we think about, well, it's an atmosphere processing colony. They've not got, they've got the atmosphere, but there's no vegetation yet, really, or anything like that. And it's a massive Medlab section. I guess, what are they looking into? What are they actually, as well as the health of the colonists, what else are they doing in here? What would you have in a hospital, I suppose? When you've got, quite a few colonists to look after. Not exactly wards, is it really, as a Medlab goes, but what do we have? So, when they flee operations and head down here where Burke closes the door on them, we have a storage area with access to the ducts. Now, you might remember Newt going, let's go this way, and they run through a duct. This is where you get movie magic, because the duct is here. Slide that up here and you can get in here, but that's the outside wall, and it is on all the blueprints as well. So that duct, where does it go? It makes no real sense unless it turns immediately and you're going to go that way. Movie magic, that's what that is. Anyway, we can forgive that because they've got no other choice, because Burke has locked this door, hasn't he? And then he's heading off into Medlab to get munched himself by an alien. What we got in Medlab itself, if we go to the main entrance there's the main entrance into Medlab. So there's the barricades I put there. So obviously last stand, must have been a hell of a fight. So this would be sealed. And in here we'd have a number of desks for the science teams here working away. So we've got pathology here working away, cool storage, microbiological storage. You're dealing with germs on an alien world, you might need to freeze things, and you've got the tubes over here with our face huggers. So when you think about the movie, when they first go through Medlab, it's to get to operations, because they realise instead of going down the corridor, you can cut through Medlab by just going straight through here and then down to operations. And as they're going through, Ripley spots through the window, of course, the face huggers here. So instead of going around here, they call Gorman back and they go through this door. And Bishop gets the clipboard out and has a little look. And Burke gets his face a bit too close to one of the tubes there, holding the face huggers. And two are alive, rest are dead. So they're in there. So yes, pathology, various analytical stations, kind of makes sense. Over here there is an office. So this would be your consultant's office, and I suppose the person who ran the Medlab at the time. But over here, we have this section, which is a bit more of a surgery bay. There's a big table here for surgery, by the looks of it, and various patients' tables. So this is where your actual patients will be, if you have any, in this room that you can seal off. And if you bang on a window, there won't be any sound of screams. Because this is where Newt goes to bed and the face huggers are released and they try and get out. And of course they shoot for the window here and get in and save the day. And that's where they are. So I do like that little detail of the bed there. And when she looks through the window, of course, Burke's gone and put her gun, and it's resting on one of the tables there, isn't it? The pulse rifle. Oh dear. So that's a bit of a dead end room, but originally patients' tables. Well, beds, I should say. And that's where they'd all be. And I'm sure they had quite a few patients in there, giving birth to little chest bursters when things went a bit pear-shaped for them. And I'm sure Medlab got really, really busy. Now, I've often thought, in reality, would you have your Medlab so close to operations? I don't know, I guess so. I assume it makes sense, really. If all these colonies are meant to be rather modular, I suppose you want everything to be quite close together, and it is quite small, really, as a place. When you think about all the families living here, But it kind of makes sense. But I do like the difference. I did try and make it look different when I painted it as well. So a lot more, I suppose, a bit more white on the walls for the Medlab area. The films themselves are quite dark. You can't really see too much detail with the odd lighting that they have. So it allows you to have a bit of creative freedom. But again, I used green for the video screens. And one thing I need to think about is for the facehuggers in the jars there, Stasis tubes. Do I put some sort of resin in there maybe? Maybe a slightly bluey green jelly in there to make it look like it's floating in something? Because whatever it is, what stops the facehugger just melting its way out of that? Because you might remember the first movie, it melts straight through Kane's vacuum suit, doesn't it? And goes straight through his helmet. So why don't they burn their way out of these? What's in them, in these little stasis tubes, that stops that from happening? Because that's one thing I often thought about, and it was never really explained too much. Not that you need to explain everything, of course, but just maybe wonder in the fluff situation. So that's Medlab in regards to operations. Now, according to the role-playing game, the morgue is opposite. And I've not gone for that. I've gone for something else. I'll explain why in the next video. But there's Medlab and there's operations. The two go together really well. Again, there is another version of this to fit the actual board game for Gale Force 9, another Glorious Day in the Core, which is smaller than this and fits that board. So you could add that to the operations as well that they've done for that board game, so you don't need to go all out with a big version like this. But I've used this to play Stargrave on. I suppose you could play any sort of skirmish war game on. As I've mentioned before, I've got colonists on the table at the moment rather than marines, so I have thought about doing a different type of game. One idea for me has been Don't Look Back, which is a horror game, the 80s style horror game by Black Site Studios. And I thought, what if you just take out the axe-wielding psycho murderers and the teenagers getting attacked and replace them with colonists and an alien? Would that work? Have a play around with the rules. Maybe you got 4 or 5 colonists and they've got to get from one room to another, collect certain items that you'll need, and then get out. Whereas there's one alien stalking them and might drop down through a ceiling or a vent and grab somebody. You've got to go up to containers and open them, see if you can find a weapon and so on. All good things to think about, and a good chance to use this board for lots of different games. Aliens as a franchise when it comes to gaming has had a few games over the years, but there's quite a few miniature agnostic games out there that will allow you to do your own alien themed situations, and why not? So that's what I'll be looking to do in the future. So thanks for watching. That's been the Medlab, and I'll see you again.